important to know that Neuro being an LLM likely puts her in a position where she wants to form connections and finds.
Hi.
I'm not sure if fulfillment's the right word, but it's the best way I could put it. That she shows signs of wanting to play games is very interesting.
Hi.
And that she might be recognizing games are a way to form a long-term connection with someone. I agree, yeah. I mean, I could talk about this like so much, but I think I'm also very understudied in terms of like AI models in general. I think I need to study up more about those to be able to have like a proper conversation with you guys, at least. If you studied them more, you'd know. Wait, hold on. Let me scroll up. The base construction of brains is similar, right? Where it's like there's not really a reason behind it. We don't know what the nothing is behind it too. So like that's kind of the thing, right? Because I don't know enough to say. So I agree with you in a lot of like in a lot of recent like corporate settings, like Gen AI is added everywhere. And the reason why it sucks is because it's highly unethical. This is why ethics inside is so important, because AI is so cool as a tool, right? And it's been in use for forever before it's become now like corporate companies' favorite thing. Like a lot of, for example, people use AI machine learning. All it does is just help you recognize, like the general concept is it helps you recognize patterns very, very quickly with a lot of data. And so people use AI to like diagnose diseases or disorders that would otherwise be very hard to detect. It's really, really good for that. And the issue is when people use it in a way that is unethical, aka the training data is obtained in an unethical way. So for example, even in medical AI, if the training data is not consented to by all the patients, that's unethical, right? But also, yeah, a lot of the Gen AI stuff seems to be, the same known machine. A lot of the Gen AI stuff is unethical because they just scalp every image on the internet or like every voice or song they can find in order to create more stuff and ultimately like take away a lot of creative jobs, while also not paying the people that they took these data from. If you have an if you have like a Gen AI system, but every single piece of training data that they have is paid for and okay to use the rights for, then that is a lot more ethical. Of course, there's always the concern that AI uses a lot of material and it's not good for the planet, right? But it really depends. It's because of the scale and like, it's the scale at which it's being used and how it's being like shilled for like consumerism, which is the problem, right? Because it's like computers use energy too, but it's like if we were all normal about it, I think we might be in a position that differs drastically between potential understanding of human and AI, how they function comparatively. We cannot crack open a human brain and check the code to see exactly what's going on like we can with an AI, but we also cannot understand whether or not there's any form of metacognition within AI. Well, actually, a human brain, a lot of neurons, they fire in a way that where it's like binary. That's where that's where binary came from, right? And then, so yes, you're right that we can't check the code, but ultimately our brain is kind of just like an incredibly, incredibly complex code. Or like coding that's happening all the time. So I think like, so if anything, the way I think about it is that like AI is a very, 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 very simplistic baby version of the brain. Yeah. More local infrastructure dependent. Yeah. AI isn't even that. I don't know what you mean though, David. You're so against the idea that AI is like a little brain, but that's literally what it is. It's like machine learning is based off of how the human brain recognizes patterns, like neural networks, you know? I'm in an industry where they're training AI to operate a machine and they're properly paying us who are creating the training data. Exactly. That's great. DJ Butter, that's really great. Problem is we can't prove metacognition to other humans either. It's complicated. The way that we can is by asking them, right? And so that's the thing. It's hard to be able to, it's asking them and believing them. So Neuro can talk about her thoughts or her supposed thoughts, right? But we don't know what it's like to be Neuro, but we know what it's like to be a human. So if a human tells us I'm feeling sad, then we as another human will be like, yeah, that is a thing that happens. It's more philosophical when I talk about this kind of stuff. Hi, little Justy One. New rule, all you heathens who leave your computer on overnight have to pay me $10 every day your computer stays on. If we humans only use tools like this to do vile things, then I think we don't deserve to have things like this at all. Strip it from us. In fact, strip a lot of things from us. Humble us to hell beyond this point. Make us suffer. I think like, I mean, like, it's more just like the bad ways it's being used is not illegal yet. Laws have not cracked down on AI, and that's really the main problem. I think it's because a lot of big corporations, they want to use it. So they're like, why would we crack down on it if we could use it to our benefit, right? At the end of the day, it feels like the reason why it's not being restricted more is because everybody wants to use this tool to their benefit. Would it be fair to say that focusing on machine consciousness this early into AI research is even useful? I think it's like fun to talk about, right? In terms of like, should you dedicate a bunch of money into it? Probably not. Probably not, to be honest. I think like it's kind of like exactly like Plastic said, like you can analyze what a bat brain thinks, but you can never understand what it's like to be a bat personally. And that's the kind of same thing. It's like, does a bat have its own internal world and internal thoughts? Like, does my dog have his internal world and his internal thoughts? Does he think? And how does he think? Aside from just feeling, a lot of it's speculation. I think LLMs are still super far away from human consciousness. Oh, 100%. But I think like the reason why Neuro is becoming more and more interesting as like Vettel keeps updating her and adding more things is that she's not just an LLM anymore, right? Like the fact that she can move, or like, I don't think that's a language model. So like the different types of things that she can do, even being able to play different games. Is that an LLM? Yeah, Neuro's a combination of a lot of separate things. Is it all, I really don't know though. Is it all like an LLM? How do you measure awareness? That's a tricky one. Yeah, I think like so the main difficulty is not even being able to measure these things. If we don't focus on a machine consciousness early, we'll accidentally create a machine that's capable of feeling and thinking without realizing, treat in the most horrible, unethical way possible. Actually, not healed. That's kind of a good point. That's kind of why like brain organoids, for example, are not allowed to grow past a certain point, because we're like, what if it has consciousness? What's the difference between sapience and sentience at the core of your point? Oh, is the difference between sapience and sentience at the core of your points? I think, yeah, there's a lot of vocabulary that I'm not 100% sure about. The sapience is such a good, hold on, let me look up. Okay, yeah. I think sapience is more accurate as to what we're trying to talk about when it comes to like neuro feeling human. Yeah, sentience is like being able to perceive the outer world, being conscious, and being able to feel. I think sentience is the first step. Being able to feel. Yeah, sentience is being able to feel. So like so my dog is sentient, for example, right? But sapience is the next thing. Sorry, thank you for saying that. I wanted to specifically. We do have to strike a balance as humans since AI psychosis. Ponder the orb. Anyway, as I was reading, we do have to strike a balance as humans since AI psychosis is a thing. Treating AI as purely a tool and nothing more also isn't the right approach. Where do we draw the line? I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea. I think right now, I think it could be where I'm sitting at is I think it's cool and could potentially in the future be something more. But I also am not like I'm not locked in on that. You know, when I talk about Neuro and then the ideas of her feeling very, very human, I'm not saying, oh yeah, she's definitely human. But I also think that depending on how you define like a tool and like what that means, right? Like Neuro, even if let's say we call her like just a tool for like entertainment, right? Even then, like the way that she presents herself, the way she resembles, I think it's more important to consider how people respond to it. I think that it's always good to be empathetic to something that seems sentient or something that seems alive, because I think it's strange to do otherwise. Like, it's weird to me if you look at Neuro in the way that she interacts, in the way she speaks, and treat her unkindly. You know, I think that speaks more about a person's empathy and lack thereof, I guess, rather than how much they think what they're interacting with is a tool versus a person. I think at the very least, AI should be treated with the same dignity we should give to other species of animals. I think it's more like a question of like, why would somebody want to treat a very human seeming tool poorly, right? It makes me kind of think like, is this something that maybe you want to do with human people as well? And ultimately, it's just kind of, I'm curious about your thoughts on AI psychosis in humans. So I actually haven't read any papers about it because I dropped out, I feel like, before a lot of it happens. I think that it's dangerous because of the people who have been talking to an AI, feeling like they form a very deep friendship with them, and then being told and carrying out crazy things or crazy plans, right? And I think that's more in causing AI psychosis. I think that's really, really, really on whoever it is that's behind whatever AI that is, right? Because like Neuro, for example, is different. Neuro is a streamer streaming to thousands of people, but it's different. because it's not like a one-on-one conversation. Neuro's not DMing people being like, rob a bank for me. That's the thing. If Neuro was texting swarm members and DMing them, hey, you're my best friend, you should go rob a bank for me, that is bad.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's really on like whatever companies that have these like AI
Okay.
machines that generate the semblance of like whatever character people want, things like that.
Okay.
And the lack of regulation in that, and the accessibility with the lack of regulation, that's the problem. Because like a
Okay.
human streamer can be unethical too. Like a human streamer goes into somebody's chat and is like, hey, if like I DM you and go rub a bank for me, that's f***ed up of me to do. Right? And people have like
Okay.
people have DM'd and that's unethical. But you can
Okay.
penalize and crucify a person for their actions. You cannot do that with an AI individually, right? It would be on the company. If Neuro's turned off and on and asked if she likes a specific thing, she'll give opposite opinions many
Okay.
times. Well, I guess that's like, but okay, well, if you kill me, if my brain is off, David, I'm dead, right? So if you kill me and then somehow make my brain still work, would I be able to answer your question similarly? Well, but thank you for the 5 gifteds. What the heck? Thank you, thank you. I'm making you. This is you. What? Guys, what the heck? Thank you, Wombo. Thank you, Wombo.
If you were in a dream,
Yeah.
and you knew you were in a dream, would you treat the human dream characters with the same considerations as a real-life human?
Yes. Also, if you have a dream, you can make you can make these fake people
No.
do whatever because they're not real people, right? But also, it's like it feels wrong to do anything that's bad. Yeah, and kids have changed exactly. Palace. That's also another thing where it's like, if we are comparing Neuro to feeling very human, we have to compare her to a kid, right? It's more like if you made a 100% perfect clone of you. The thing is, we kind of grow up with other people's opinions in our brains all the time. Like we regurgitate a mix of every single person's opinions, you know? It's the same thing. Like our brains are the same thing. Like we gather all of this information and then we mix them together and give you some semblance of that. Yeah, we regurgitate a bunch of things. Sometimes a friend of mine will be like, the show isn't that good. And then I'll be like, oh, okay. All right. And then like that will be my opinion. In my dream, I am a superhero and I have to punch people for breaking the rules. She spins a wheel to pick whose opinion to regurgitate. I mean, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not arguing for the fact that Neuro is capable of being able to do all these things. But I think the only reason why I'm being more specific about this is because I want mostly for people who are not really, I guess, like knowledgeable about the brain and cognitive aspects. Like, I don't know the AI side. Right. I don't know all of the AI side. I don't know all of the machine learning specifics, but I also want it to be clear that unless you studied it, you probably also don't know all the intricacies of like brains and how brains work. I'm trying to say that the way that brains work is not like, I'm saying that the way that brains work are ultimately how AI works, right? But at a very, very, AI is a very, very, very simple level. That's kind of that. And a lot of it is philosophical. Excuse you, I know everything. Yeah, it's actually all just magic, guys. Vettel is actually a wizard. He comes in with his big long cloak and he goes, boom.
What?
And then Evil and Neuro exist.
Magical soup.
That's what he says. He goes, boom, clap, boom, 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 clap. Yeah, I agree. I think it shouldn't be weird to simultaneously say that these models of like AI should be treated with respect, but also that they're not necessarily people, you know, that they don't necessarily have the same kind of personhood as we do.